My audience for these watch reviews is twofold. It's going to be my subscribers who I wish to turn on to some excellent timepieces, which I find useful, functional, first, second cool. And then honestly, mostly for non-subscribers who will find this video through YouTube search and Google search, looking for this model. I do the kind of watch review that I would like to watch, no pun intended. There's no fluff. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to cover all the features. I'm going to cover a lot of philosophy. And I have my own style. It's unlike any other watch review you'll watch. Again, I'm using that word a lot. It is, and it's going to last a while too, maybe 20 minutes, maybe longer. So if you're in a hurry, this isn't the video product you want. But if you have a smartphone, just pick it apart. 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes while you're supposed to be working at work. I will probably make you want this watch, especially if you're a water guy. And by the way, it's the Casio, I said it, 7900 series, but it's going to cover modules 3144 and Japanese domestic module 3193. I'm going to show you that one too. Don't think of this as only a water watch, because maybe you live in Kansas, you're watching this and going, I don't know. I don't have coast near me. I don't need a tidal function. I don't care. You should care, because it's a great, let's jump right into philosophy of use. It's a great EDC watch. Now, a lot of dudes wear a lot of watches with a lot of useless functions on them they never use. The 7900 series has a 4-quadrant display. For instance, we have the bottom half time. This is moon phase. This is tidal function. These 2 quadrants right here. Awesome, right? But you say, well, I don't need tidal function. I'll never use that. Well, you probably, if you're watching this video, have watches already that have subdials on them and other useless things that you never use on them, but you like how they look. For me, I like how the 7900 series looks. It presents well, it's technical looking, but it's not so, as I say, noisy as to where I cannot extract information from it very quickly. It's really a perfect balance. So it's not just a water watch. For all those chronographs you've been wearing with all the subdials you never use, I mean, dude, just blow it off. The moon phase is very useful. So if you do any kind of outdoor activities, hunting and fishing, the moon phase could be extremely helpful for you. The version you're looking at here, by the way, and I have more than one, I will do that with what I call Hall of Fame watches if we can financially do it here in TMP. We buy all these. We don't get them for free. We buy them the same way you do, probably from Amazon. You'll see the links below. You'll see screenshots too, proving that we bought them. And that way you get a totally unbiased, fair review, and that's just what you get always here in the nutnfancy project, right? This, by the way, is the slate blue version. I really love it. It's kind of, I don't know, low-key. You like that? So it's not a bright blue. It's just, well, slate blue. It's G7900 2DR as in Delta Romeo. So this is a favorite color, and you will see right now with these ones I'm going to put up here, it comes in a variety of colors, kind of like this super cool technical white version. And this is catalog number, and don't worry if you don't remember these, they'll be below for your reference. G7900 A7. I really like how this one has an orange ring around the moon phase on this one. So it's white, blue, it's really pretty. It's got dark gray actuating buttons, contrasting blue. I call these wings right here, or stabilizers, strap stabilizers. All in matte finished bands, and we'll talk about that. So that's the white version of the Casio G-Shock 7900. And here comes, oh, I just love all these colors, really. It's hard to pick which one's favorite. They often call this the rescue version. It is meant often for first responders, especially waterborne first responders, police, Coast Guard, the rescue version in red. Yes, we like this because it matches, I never told you the name, here it comes, Cool Boy Proxy. That's the name of our Zodiac. I know, it just is, because it's going to be a proxy for a real boat, if and when we ever get a real boat, but we love it. It's fun and it's just adventurous. Same color though, so it's that bright fire engine red, matte finished band. And so the ring on this one is black or super dark gray, as you can see. Each one of these possessing its own personality because of the coloration. Casio does such a great job of that. A lot of watchmakers do. So they just issue different colorations of the same module, and it just suits your moods, what you're feeling that day, and you can have a 7900 in this instance collection. This one actually I did not get from Amazon. I had to go searching for it in eBay, and it is still out there, although I've seen the prices run around $275. This is a JDM version. So cool. Yellow. It's kind of an orangish yellow, and it's a different module. It has a lot of the functionality this one does, but it's actually a tough solar atomic timekeeping 7900. How cool is that? So two of my favorite features of any watch, and we'll talk about why. This is the module 3193. It's also a 7900. Most of these will run $60 to $70, as you'll see. This one was more for me. I think I got a buy on it from a private purchase seller for $155. Hey, I would never pay that for a G-Shock. Well, if you say that, you need to kind of come up to speed on what's happened in the last 10 years to G-Shocks. They are extremely collectible because many of them are hard to get in the US, like this one, and they go up in value. Like this owner, whoever owned this, took very good care of it. There's no wear on it at all. It was probably in his G-Shock collection. He sold it and probably made a little bit of money off of it. Good on him. And if I keep it and don't wear it, I can make a lot more money off of it if I want. There's G-Shocks from the JDM, that is Japanese domestic market, which are very rare. They go well above $1,000. It really doesn't matter about the functionality. It doesn't matter that it's a resin case. All that really matters in any of this, and you guys should know this, especially my audience members. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this light. It just matters if other people want it. So that's what drives the price. It's not that, oh, it's not a metal case, it's not a Rolex, it's not a Seiko or whatever. It just matters there's people out there like me willing to go out and spend money on it. It's just supply and demand. And if the supply is low and there's demand, the price is going to go up, 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 up. So these are for sure Hall of Fame watches for me. Philosophy of use, obviously, I'm going to try to turn this slide on, see if that will minimize some of this stuff right here. Ooh, that's better, dude, because that color's popping that way. Don't think of them as just water watch. I talked about that. For us, yes, it functions that way because it really is giving us the essential information that we use out there in the boat. Tidal information for sure, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. It's also a great winter watch. So if you go snowshoeing, skiing, it has a low temperature LCD display all the way down to -4 Fahrenheit. I didn't know that when I bought the watch. I started digging through the manual. I was like, whoa. There have been some watches I've taken out there, LCD presentations, that didn't do so hot. Usually it manifests itself by the display going very dim, and it's just not readily readable. We talked EDC already, and a men's fashion watch because of the colorations. I do like colored watches, and I suspect most of my audience don't like color watches. They want something tactical, military. I'm really kind of pushing away from that more and more because I've had it so much in my life. In my 21-year military career, I'm a retired Lieutenant Colonel Air Force, if you're new to the project. So I've traveled that road for decades and decades, and so it's nice to change it up, and I have a lot of right brain in me too. If you are in the military and you don't need a red, white, slate blue, or you probably won't find that one, but yellow 7900, there is a black version that it would be red compliant, and that is 7900-1. I think I'll throw in a screenshot if I can find it. So that is the same watch, just a black variation. Other philosophies of use will be standard. I love the colors on it though. Super cool, and it can just suit your mood. The white, the white is just so technical. I was wearing it the other day and someone came up and said, hey, that's a cool astronaut watch. So I did a Golf Master review. I'm going to do another one on the full featured, and I have a white version of that, and it's just a really cool watch. The thing is, with white, of course, it's going to show dirt, and these are matte finish, not gloss finish bands. We do find, and you might see it on this red one that we've ran in the boat a lot, dirt, so just get hot soapy water with a toothbrush that you can scrub with, and it comes right off. They clean very nicely. The gloss bands that sometimes Casio comes out with look really good. I have a couple of them, but they will after a bunch of use start peeling, and the matte comes out underneath them. So for what it's worth. How about size, weight, comfort, strap retention, features of the 7900? it's kind of a chunky watch, like a lot of the G-Shocks are. Some dudes I'll hear occasionally go, well, I don't like, a watch that looks that way. And I get it. I mean, if it's second cool and this isn't your cup of tea, cool. But for a lot of us, we do like it. And it is a rugged, outdoor, adventurous appearance that the G-Shock has put out there for decades. It's highly accepted. There's millions of fans of G-Shocks. Collections that would blow your mind. People that have hundreds and hundreds of all types of different G-Shocks. They only wear a very small fraction of them. I guess that's another philosophy of use, by the way, is collectability. And I actually like how Casio does that, because this red one, for instance, could be discontinued. Same with the white. And then suddenly what happens to the value? It goes up and up and up. Tons and tons of G-Shock models will fall into that line. But what I was saying is that it's a chunkier watch in comparison to, I'm wearing an analog diver. I'm going to wipe it off here. It's a Citizen Eco Drive. I'll review this separately. Super sick. Love it. And it's also solar powered. This one's solar powered. These three are not. And these watches are going to be a lot bigger and chunkier than that. The funny thing is there's not going to be a lot of weight difference. So resin body, resin band, which in my experience has proven to be extremely tough, especially in our recent testing. It just lasts. It lasts and lasts. But these are only 2.4 ounces. Yeah, are they kind of chunky? Yeah, a lot of watches are. Guys are running around with 7-ounce watches on their wrist. Not me. My weight limit is like 3.8. Call me a wuss if you want. I don't care. Dude, 3.8 ounces and that's, I'm done. The bands are proprietary, so if you like swapping in NATO straps or whatever to change it out, you're going to have a difficult time because, well, you can see it's narrow here. I think that's 18 millimeter, so you could put something on there, but it won't look exactly right because you can see how it goes to a different width here. I love how it is a screw cross pin, so it's not just a spring bar. So this is kind of a more heavier duty attachment system. And if we talk about comfort, I label all these so you can see it too. Kind of see the back there. The stabilizers are comfortable, so it transitions to thinner wrists. I'm about a 7 1/4 inch wrist, kind of thinner. It rides on my wrist fine. If you're a bigger fella, it's going to ride on you too. Single class stainless buckle there, and then we've got a resin keeper here. The retention on it is okay, and so this will flip out occasionally. I'm really kind of torn what I like best on it, because sometimes, like on that Pro Trek I showed you guys, it has the barb on there, but they're such a pain to undo and take off when you can take your watch off. I'm just really torn. The retention's okay on it. Well, how long will the band last? I'm not really sure because I don't have that much time running the watch, but I would imagine daily wear, probably 3 years. If you have it in a rotation, a lot longer than that, as long as you don't shower with it and get soap all over it. So keep it clean, washed off. And anything that you think would make the band more brittle, like staying out in the sunshine for long periods of time, I probably wouldn't do it. Not while you're wearing it. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. So overall, a very comfortable watch. Let's go into the feature set, and this one is different than all three of these. These three are the same. I guess I'll use the red one to show you. Actually, I'm going to use a white one. That white one is so cool looking. Tidal function is the big thing. Again, you can totally ignore that and just go, oh, gee whiz, high tide in Cali, or wherever you set it for. And you do have to set the tide function to tell it where you are. And so what we're going to do, and this is very intuitive if you know the Casio interface, you'll just push what I call the upper left key, and we'll go through super quick. The settings are seconds. Daylight savings time is on. There's no auto function in these modules, which is kind of a downside, but remember the price point. It's about a $70 watch. If you go up to a Pro Trek series, it has an auto daylight savings time function there, which I talked about in that review, which I love. Here you're going to have to manually do it. Not too hard, it only takes you a couple seconds, but just remember it. You're going to do a UTC offset and tell the watch what your time zone offset is. You can find this online readily. Time, and then the year, month, day. And then up here is your selectable illumination. It's generally 1 second, and these modules, and I want to get it right, 3144, if you press this, it goes to, I think, 5 seconds. So that's super cool. Now, if you press this lower left one here, I think that's how you go. I'm sure I told you right. Let's see, daylight savings time. I go upper left. Oh, here we go. I had to go to the longitude setting. So this is used for your tidal function too. So it needs to know UTC offset and then your longitude, and then if you press this one right here, it should give you kind of a technical term. It's called the lunitidal interval. Lunitidal interval. I'm going to put a link to a website below, and that is how you're going to get your lunitidal interval. It has to do with moon phase, when it passes over your location, what it does to the water, and what you do at that website. And that's all I did, is just put your latitude and longitude in, and it gives you an interval. For now, I have this set to 12 hours and 21 minutes. It's around the Santa Cruz area in California. Cool. And once that's in there, though, it knows how to calculate your tidal function. Pretty easy. This module actually, if you set it, and I'll go super quick on this if I can, is a little bit different. It does it like the more modern modules I should say. Go into set mode, boom, 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 12, 24 hour. This module is just slightly different, as you can see. Go super quick. I press that, and actually I forgot where it is. Oh, here it is. So if I press and hold, it's going to say, when's your high tide? So I went to the tidal function, I just give a time. So I use an application, put the high tide in. I actually prefer this version better. And there's your moon age right there. So it's between first quarter and full moon. There might be some differences between these two watches because I have them set for different time zones or something. I like it when I can just put in high tide. It's just simpler. I don't have to go figure out the lunitidal. That's kind of an older way of doing it. Okay, so that's that. We set the watch, then we go here, lower left, and we cycle through the functions. We can check the tidal function, and this presentation on module 3193 is different, and I actually like it just a little bit better than this one, but they're still excellent. So it's showing a rising tide. This will blink, showing what's going on. Again, there's some differences between these two watches of how they're set. The flickering, by the way, is caused by the fluorescent LED light that's illuminating the screen right now. So, are the watches. There you go. This one's excellent too. And when we have duty gear, we just want watches. We can say, what's the tide doing? When are we going to launch the boat? Maybe we're going to low water areas. It's really useful for us if you're fishing, surfing, scuba diving, recreational boating, sailing, all that stuff. Tidal information is super important. I've talked about that a lot. And we go into the module. It's going to show you 6 a.m. like I've talked about. You can cycle that. And then you could actually push up or left in these modules and go to a different day if you want to check tide that way. Okay, so there's tide. Your moon phase, by the way, is shown right here, and the non-blacked out portion is the portion of the moon that you actually see. I much prefer a visual representation of moon phase over basically an age. There are some modules that will just show the age, and you're like, okay, 9.5, what's that? You can get a graph out and figure it out. Okay, and then so we went to tide, and this one's the same way. And again, it's showing tide for 9/11 in this module. Stopwatch function, start, stop, clear. There's also some auto start functions on stopwatch, something like that. Time remaining also has auto repeat, auto progress, auto beep. There's time remaining right there. Super useful, actually. And you can look at the manual for that to find more. Oh, there you go. It stops flickering at that angle. Several alarms. Alarm 1, 2, 3, 4. Signal. There is a snooze function on this one. And then your indications right here on the LCD screen will pop up as you set an alarm. Okay, and we'll listen to the beep. Medium loudness on the beep. It's not like amazing. It's okay. You know, it's okay. And then turning the alarm on and off. I'm looking for it right here. There you go. And then world time is super cool. I'm in LA time right here. The daylight savings function, I think you have to select here as well. So you press and hold that one. Yeah, it works. And then you can cycle both directions in this module. I love the 7900. Total Hall of Fame watch. Really nice. Just like I always say, if you remember, if you have to wake up in that new time zone, it's going to go off your home time. It won't go, obviously, off your WT setting. This module here, by the way, has a super cool function in it. In that you can, if you go back to timekeeping mode, if you press this button, it'll show you your world time function. So this one's really cool. And this is seconds counting down. And if you look right here, This is an atomic watch, so it's multi-band 6 tough solar, has a solar cell around the periphery. You can see the charge level. Where is it? Right here. See the mark right here? So you have low, medium, and high. Simple, although you have to probably get glasses to read it. And then this triangular stack shows you if it got a good reception last time. And it did. So if I press this button, it says this day at 12:04 a.m. it got a sync to Fort Collins. So super cool. Those are my two favorite functions actually in any digital watch, maybe even analog, in that it's a solar powered and atomic timekeeping. It just drives to lower maintenance. So those are your features. World time, love that. And then we go back today. And then the presentation on this, I'm trying to remember. There's a way to do it. I forget. Oh, there it is. So it's 9/11 showing you there, and then Sunday. So many modules, so many buttons. And then the illumination is right here on all these watches. So this is the illumination button, and all of the modules have a user selectable delay or dwell time for the illumination. I always put on longer. These ones you can do 5 seconds. I think this one's 3 seconds with auto illumination too. And I think this one, yeah, this one is set to auto illumination right here, the yellow one. So what I'll do is you just tilt it and it just pops on, and it's just by pressing and holding this button right here. Great illumination actually on all these watches. It actually is like it acts like the Indiglo function on a Timex. Now if we talk about legibility and noise, that's my own term. Noise is like difficulty in extracting the information you want from a watch, and for me it's time and date and day. I need that information all the time. How much noise is there in the 7900? There is some, because it is a segmented display, and also it's recessed because the crystal's protected, as in a lot of G-Shock designs it's recessed so the crystal won't get scratched up as easily. But it means you might have to tilt your wrist a little bit more, and it also means that the numerals are going to be smaller than a lot of other competitors. One of them would be the ProTrek. So you can see the number size on the ProTrek, much larger. Much more expensive watch. This is a $200 watch. This is a $70 watch. And this doesn't have Tide. It does have ABC. I have a separate review out on it. But just as an example, and then let me show you another Casio product. I love how this is. I'll review it separately. It's a Casio GD350-8. It's the same price, but look at the numerals on that and the legibility. Also a segmented screen, also a chunky watch. This one looks like a freaking, I don't know, Transformer watch or Star Wars watch. Just very cool. So that, just be aware of that. There's a lot of modules that have the same height of letters. The Rangeman comes to mind. I have a Rangeman and its numerals are exactly the same. And this button doesn't do anything unless you change the modules, and then that changes military time to normal time. How about the durability of this watch? How would I think it's going to last? There is some, I think, unwarranted prejudice against watches that are made of resin. I am not one of those people at all. I mean, obviously, I like 316L or whatever other high-tech metal, titanium metal. That's a second cool thing, but I don't think it's a first cool. First cool is functionality. Does it work? There are G-Shocks running around from the 90s that TMPers have. I mean, I posted one, a TMPer, on my Twitter feed. He goes, yeah, man, you've inspired me to bring out my old G-Shock, and it's from 90s. I have one from like 94 that's still rocking and rolling. Glocks work. They're made of polymer too. So anybody who says, well, they're not tough enough for me. No, that's not true. They'll last. Doesn't mean you won't scrape them up and beat them up and eventually have to change your band, but that's normal wear and tear, dude. Normal wear and tear. That's just kind of comes along with any watch you end up wearing. The accuracy, by the way, I forgot to mention, this one's not going to be an issue because it's an atomic solar watch. It's syncing every night, which I absolutely love. I think I made that clear. Plus or minus 15 seconds a month. I do find that to be about the case. You can see some of these are right in line. This one's just a little bit fast. So this one's kind of jumping ahead, but that's well in the realm of what I think is awesome. You know, 15 seconds a month, I can live with that. It just gives me another project to sync it. I do like the atomic better though. The value on it, I think it's excellent. $70 for these three. I mean, totally in the ballpark, especially for ocean gear as we use it for. There are several Tidal watches that we're using, testing for tabletops, and also, you know, just for us. We're kind of watch guys at this point too. And this is one of our favorites. It just works. It's an easy read to find out what the tide's doing, what the moon phase is doing. It's super easy, and it has all the other useful functions we need. It doesn't really have the ABC functions, but honestly, they've been super inaccurate on most of the watches we've tested, so who cares? This one is my favorite for sure because, well, what I've talked about, you know. It has all those super cool features to it. And this one solar charges, at least under sunlight, and in about 5 hours from 0 to empty, if I remember right. It has a CTL 1616 battery that will eventually need to be replaced. The battery duration on these ones, I would estimate to be about, depending on how much you use the light, I usually turn off auto light. I recommend you do too. I just did it for the review. I bet you they last like 5 years, at least, probably longer. I have Casios from the early 2000s, not this technical with all the displays going on here, but I have them in my inventory that are still running on their original batteries. So I think you'll be super happy on the battery life. I did show you the back side, but there are 4 screws. You'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, pop it out. Probably better to get someone to do that who knows about it. I have done it myself. You have to be super careful of those O-rings. Otherwise, you're going to lose the waterproofness, which I forgot to mention is 200 meters. So it's a 20 bar watch. That's pretty excellent. And in these versions, this regular 7900s, it's a 2025 battery. So this is a battery, dudes. That's a common battery that it's pretty thick and has a lot of juice. So it's not a little tiny button cell. It's a major battery. Again, getting back to why I think, you know, it's going to last a long time. Other options at this price level, there's a bazillion of them. I mean, I showed you that one. The Armatron product, I think, is excellent, but they're not this technical. They don't have all the features this does, especially the switchable whirl time, the multiple alarms, the intuitiveness of the UI that the Casio G-Shock has. The looks are fabulous, I think. The only downside I can really say is the numbers are a little bit small for me. You may think they're just ideal. The colorations are perfect. I mean, it's really a 5-star watch. I'll say it here on camera, it's 5 stars all the way. The Nut and Fancy review is complete. Thanks for watching.